Welcome to Jamaica Life Media, empowerment through education, employment, and entrepreneurship. This is the channel where we talk about education, jobs, and business. If it is your first time here, your comments would be greatly appreciated. Let's get into the video. Speaking at the opening of the new Pepsi production line in Kingston, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said Jamaica may have to import skilled workers. How could that be when we have so many idle, unemployed young people on the streets and in our communities every day? Please watch the PM's explanation until the end.
For some, the reduction in our unemployment juxtaposed against seeing in communities young men still not employed in formal and meaningful economic pursuits, in seeing our young men still being involved in criminal activity, in seeing so much human resources literally going to waste. It may seem as if the figures are not adequately capturing those persons. The truth is that, and I'm not intending to get into any lecture as to how unemployment is calculated, except to say that we haven't changed the way in which we have been calculating unemployment over the last 30 years when the numbers have been very high. It's the same metric that is used. What has changed is that the fiscal management of the country has created an environment of confidence in the business community, particularly as it relates to the stability in taxes. That is it, and in parallel, the development of the institutional framework, particularly as it relates to monetary policy and foreign exchange management, which has given the private sector the confidence to invest. And this investment is pulling in to formal employment those persons who are willing to work, seeking work, have educated and upskilled themselves to be able to take advantage of work. Where we are at now in the society is that we have literally absorbed all those persons into the formal economy. And so where we are now as a government, we never had this problem before, but it's a good problem to have. We have to rapidly engage those who are on the margins of our society, who have, by whatever circumstances, have decided that they don't want to participate in the labor force, either because they may feel that the economics of the current wage level is such that it doesn't provide them an incentive to work, or that criminal activities may pay them better, or it may be that they have decided to stay home and be maintained. Or they may very well feel that because they have no education and no skills, it doesn't make sense that they put themselves in the labor market. So the government has to create new programs through HEART, NSTA, and by extending the school leaving years. You would notice that we have added on 2 additional years to school leaving, and we are putting in all kinds of programs to keep our youngsters in schools, so that when they leave, the transition from school to work is seamless. It is a national emergency to get our human resources that are not in the labor force, first of all, to get them into a culture of work, to develop the work ethic, and to get them the skills to make them functional. But there are calls in certain quarters in the private sector that says that Jamaica may very well have to consider, if its economic growth potential continues at this pace, that we may very well have to have a program of controlled and increased entry of workers from overseas to supplement our labor force. It is controversial, and I hope and pray that my comments are not taken and carried to ridiculous extremes. I'm really hopeful that Jamaica's commentators can take the time to research before they comment on issues as to the various growth strategies that were employed in the past, that our neighbors around us are employing, and that we may very well have to employ. If we continue to grow and our growth pace increases, we will use up those who are outside. Maybe in the next 5 years, 6 years, maybe the next decade. Who would have thought 10 years ago that Jamaica would be at this place now? But you can't wait until you are at that point in the future that you make policies for that time in the future. You have to be thinking ahead, and that's why you have this government who sometimes we have to take decisions that in the present you don't see the logic of it, and immediately you jump on it for political short-term reasons without seeing the long-term strategic direction.
So there you have it. The Prime Minister says Jamaica is running out of persons willing to be trained to enter the labor force. And so we may have to have a program of migrant workers if the country's economy continues to grow. I wonder which countries these workers will come from and how much they will be paid. I would love to hear your comments on this and other topics you'd like to see addressed. Thank you so much for watching, and please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Take care until next time.